You think your cat feels perfectly safe when they use the litter box. But what if the very spot you chose for them is secretly terrifying them? Most owners hide litter boxes for aesthetics, tucked behind walls, inside closets, or under counters. It looks neat, it looks clean, but cats don't see it that way. To a cat, a hidden box isn't cozy, it's a trap. A dark corner with only one exit is vulnerability amplified. And the truth is, most humans have been missing the signs for years. Cats are communicating their discomfort in ways that are subtle, almost invisible. The way they glance toward the door, the half-slow blink as they finish, the way their body tenses before they step in. These aren't random behaviors. They're ancient survival instincts talking to you. You just haven't learnt the language yet. Here's the thing. Cats evolved as solitary hunters. Every movement, every glance, every pause carries meaning. A box tucked in a narrow corner? It screams ambush potential. Even the calmest house cat feels exposed, and that anxiety can ripple through every other interaction in your home. And if you have more than one cat, it's not just anxiety, it's potential conflict. That's where the N+1 rule comes in, a simple, overlooked principle in multi-cat households. For every cat in your home, there should be one more litter box than cats. 3 cats, 4 boxes. 2 cats, 3 boxes. Why? Because cats measure safety in options. If one box feels unsafe, they need an alternative. A place to retreat without confrontation. Without it, stress builds, subtle signals get misread, and what seems like minor behavior problems can escalate. And here's a curiosity to hold on to. Cats rarely vocalize fear. They show it through stares, slow blinks, and tiny adjustments of posture. Which brings us to something many owners misunderstand completely. The stare. There's a reason your cat watches you with unbroken intensity, sometimes following you from room to room. At first it feels like judgment, maybe even annoyance, but look closer. The slow blink? It's not laziness, it's a sign of trust, a silent communication that says, I feel safe enough to lower my guard. Unbroken staring? That's predator focus. Your cat is watching, analysing, making sure the environment is secure before they relax. Half-closed stares, the kind that seem almost sleepy, they're bonding signals. Cats often do this with other cats they trust, slowly closing their eyes while facing each other. Doing it toward you, they're telling you you belong in their safe circle. And dilated pupils? Not just excitement, not just surprise. Often it's vigilance mixed with curiosity. A cat in a vulnerable position, like a hidden box, will have subtle pupil dilation, scanning exits and evaluating threats. Night staring behavior? Cats are naturally crepuscular. But if your cat stares at the doorway at night, or seems alert in the dark corners, it's not randomness. It's them compensating for a space that doesn't feel secure. And here's where it gets fascinating. Every stare, every glance, every slow blink your cat gives you is part of a dialogue you didn't even know was happening. It's how they tell you, without words, that their world is sometimes frightening, and it all loops back to where they eliminate. That hidden box you thought was perfect? It might be the silent source of tension that affects their behavior in ways you haven't connected yet. The good news is, there's a fix. Not just moving the box, but designing spaces that respect their instinctual needs. Light, multiple exits, strategic placement. And when you apply the N+1 rule, harmony starts to emerge. Cats who felt anxious suddenly appear more relaxed. Their slow blinks become more frequent. Stares soften into trust. Eyes that once darted nervously now follow you with calm interest. But there's one more layer many people miss. The emotional ripple. Cats aren't just reacting physically. They're processing stress, safety, and social cues in ways that bond them more closely to you when handled correctly. And there's a psychological truth here that most cat owners overlook. By misreading these signs, we accidentally increase their stress, even if we mean well. Every tense glance, every half-closed stare is a message we can respond to, or ignore. And the difference is profound. Now, let's break down the stares you might be seeing but never fully understood. 1. The slow blink. When your cat looks at you and slowly closes their eyes, It's almost imperceptible. Most people think it's relaxation, or maybe boredom, but science tells us it's trust at its purest. A cat can only afford to relax like that if it feels completely safe. It's a subtle "I'm letting my guard down for you." Try returning the gesture. Blink slowly back. You'll see a subtle shift in their body, a small easing of tension, because you just spoke their language. 2. The unbroken stare. This one is intense. Eyes locked on you, no break, sometimes following your movements. It feels unnerving at first, but it's not hostility. It's predator focus. Your cat is scanning, analysing, making sure the environment is secure. In the wild, a predator does this before making a move. At home, your cat is protecting itself, and often, by extension, protecting you. Notice when they stare this way near the litter box. That's a direct reflection of vulnerability. They want to be sure nothing can sneak up on them. And here's the thing, if you misinterpret this as annoyance, you might unknowingly add stress. 3. Dilated pupils. Not always excitement. Sometimes fear, sometimes focus. When your cat's box is in a cramped hidden space, those pupils tell you they're on high alert. Subtle changes in lighting can exaggerate this, making them look wide-eyed at the doorway, the hallway, or even at you. 4. The half-closed trust stare. This is one of the most emotionally powerful behaviours. When your cat looks at you with half-lowered lids, it's the feline equivalent of a hug. But it's also delicate. Place the litter box where they can comfortably see exits, and you might notice this behaviour expand to other areas. Bed, couch, even while they eat. It's a quiet reassurance, a bond deepener. 5. Night staring. Cats are naturally active at dawn and dusk, but if you notice them staring at the shadows at night or glancing toward hidden corners, it's not random. They're processing threats, evaluating options, and trying to maintain a sense of control. Cats are tiny animals with huge instincts. Even the smallest misplacement of a litter box can trigger vigilance behaviours that ripple into their social interactions. 6. Predator focus outside the litter box. Ever notice how a cat freezes mid-step, eyes locked, ears twitching? That focus isn't just hunting instincts, it's environmental assessment. And when that behaviour coincides with hidden litter areas, it's the same survival wiring. They're making sure their elimination space, one of the most vulnerable positions, is safe. And 7. Emotional bonding signals. Cats don't just show love with purring or head bumps. Eye contact, slow blinking, half-closed stares, they're ways to communicate trust and connection. When you respect their need for safety around the litter box, these signals become more frequent. Their stares soften. Their behaviours feel lighter, more open. Their trust in you deepens. Here's where it gets interesting. Each of these 7 types of stares is interconnected. Misreading one can ripple into misunderstanding others. A hidden litter box doesn't just affect bathroom habits. It affects emotional security, inter-cat harmony, and the subtle ways they interact with you every day. And if you have multiple cats, it's even more critical. The N+1 rule isn't just about avoiding accidents. It's about creating multiple safe zones so that each cat can perform these vulnerability rituals without fear of being cornered or challenged. And here's a small curiosity loop to keep in mind. If your cat suddenly stops giving you the slow blink or trust stare near the litter area, it's not laziness, it's communication. They're signaling that something feels unsafe, and by paying attention, you can correct it before stress escalates into behavioral problems. And by the way, if this is making sense so far, hit like and subscribe. Understanding your cat on this level isn't just about harmony, it's about tuning in to one of the most subtle emotional languages in the animal kingdom.